is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring, bound by a wild desire. I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and the flames got higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire. The taste of love is sweet when hearts like ours meet.
Welcome to the Wellbeing Podcast on this here Wednesday night. I'm throwing down a show without Sumaira tonight. We weren't able to match up schedules, but I have an absolutely special and lovely guest host to join me tonight, so you people won't have to listen to just my voice for 30 minutes. So I'd like to introduce you to Lauren Delaney. She's the writer of thebikiniexperiment.com. She's a fitness writer, blogger, and all-around wellness ass kicker, who I am proud to call my girlfriend. So you guys get to meet the Lauren. And so to all you nation of well-beings out there, I'd like to introduce you to Lauren.
That was so sweet. Hi, everyone.
Oh, what happened to Hi Nation?
Oh, you didn't set it up. Hi, Nation. We talked about it right before we started. I was going to say Hi Nation is a little shout-out to Jessica North and Attitude Nation, but without the setup, I wasn't sure.
So Attitude Nation is kind of the group of followers who follow Weightlifting Talk, which is hosted by John North. And I listen to Weightlifting Talk. I really like it as a training podcast and more just a lifestyle podcast.
And he is hysterical.
He is.
He throws around these sayings that you would never even think to put together, but somehow they just really make sense.
And he, it's really, his story is quite amazing. And so I encourage people, just if they want to find out what the Olympic weightlifting community is like, and also just kind of get a different spin on what listening to talk radio and training is like, to check it out. But one of the things that kind of struck me about his relationship with his wife Jessica, who's also an Olympic weightlifter, is sort of the Bonnie and Clyde nature of their relationship. That, you know, she's not just there supporting him, but she's like the Bonnie to his Clyde, like that she's in it with him.
They do the certifications, their conferences together. She's a weightlifter. Yeah, they totally do everything together.
Yeah, he was living homeless in a Dodge Neon, and you know they were.
Yeah.
She was all the time right there with him. So
cool couple.
Pretty cool couple. So
yeah.
Whenever John finally coaxes her onto a podcast, she's very soft spoken, but really cool, really knowledgeable herself. And she always just you do it perfectly.
Hi Nation.
Yeah, it's awesome. So,
just like that.
Yeah. So definitely check them out. But anyway, we thought we'd just tune in tonight. I want to start off tonight with a little bit of a rant. I'm not really sure when Instagram turned into Carbogram.
Remember, it's only a half-hour show.
It's just really carbs and cakes and everything with hashtag balance.
Well, Instagram, if you look at it as a whole, sort of visually tells the story of your life. So if you're eating a lot of cakes and carby things, that's what your Instagram's going to contain.
But don't be promoting health and be hashtag balance.
Oh, that's different. You're talking about if a model or a health person eats a piece of cake and calls it balance, not average.
But their
Jane.
Instagram is all cake. It's cake and hashtag balance. Hashtag screw your balance. That's not balance.
I think part of the problem, I think it does get a lot of attention, but if you read some of their other posts and such, they will explain that maybe that's their one treat for the week, that most of their other meals are chicken and vegetables, and because they eat those meals, they get to enjoy that piece of cake or that glass of wine that night. So I think that I think that the cake kind of, I guess, is like more fun and more sexy, so maybe that gets a little more attention.
Yeah, but it's like
how does that model? How does she look like that and eat the cake? Like that's what draws people in.
And all
like,
she has
can
is
I have that
carbogram, and but
maybe those are just the only meals she's showing.
Okay, but here's the thing: these people have put 10 years into building a physique.
Oh, 100%.
And the amount of time, like, if you want to talk about screw 80-20, that's not 80-20. They're probably 99.9.
Well, in all those years that they were like
0.1%
really hustling
different.
to train for shows, and their diet was like
on point.
99.9% clean, to the best of their ability. I mean, there were all those years leading up to it,
right.
So they do have a little more leeway.
Right. So that one gluten-filled just gorge fest, it might not be bloating them and inflaming them for large sustainable periods of time because they have a base under them to recover from it, but that's not balance. Like, that's like, oh, I've trained hard for 10 years and I know what this is going to do to me and I accept that. That's different than like the people who don't understand what that does to them. And especially when people have been eating who've been eating pretty poorly for years on, genetically modified foods and how that harms your gut. Mm-hmm. And then besides the gut health, the gluten just attacking the immune system, being an immunoreactive, which is a protein, but is filled in wheat and some other, other grains. And that's not balance. That's pulling you further away from balance. If balance is neutral, is baseline, is this safe, good place, it's pulling you away from that.
Well, I think that actually used to be more my attitude, and I think that it really changed when we read Rich Food, Poor Food on Vacation together, because it started to change the way I looked at food. I started to look at the food quality and what I was getting out of it. It wasn't so much... I didn't feel deprived anymore. I felt like I started to shift towards making choices that were better for me all the time. And it didn't feel like it was a sacrifice. It felt like I was making a good decision.
It just drives me batshit crazy.
#balance?
Oh, God. #screw your balance. I absolutely, it drives me nuts. And I come up with like the most ridiculous like #balance derivatives.
Yeah, the balance really gets under your skin. I mean, I've seen it up close and personal.
Because the more they eat like that, the less in balance they're going to be.
But on the flip side too, if people aren't even remotely close to the 80-20 rule, which for anyone who doesn't know is kind of the 80% clean, 20%, whatever, cheat foods, whatever you want to call it. If you're kind of looking at that, if people are so far away from that, even #balance is an improvement for them.
Yeah, but those people don't know what balance is. Balance in this case is being referred to as like I'm not crazy and anal on my eating. I'm actually, look, I can have these crappy foods too and be all right. And
but it probably is a form of crazy anal because they're probably counting calories all day so that they can allot for that Starbucks. What are those called? The balls, cake balls type
cake
things.
Pops.
Cake pops or whatever.
Actually, okay, so you just struck upon probably a gold mine of a point there, though, is that they're counting calories and they're probably doing it in a very mathematical type of equation because that's still a conventional way of controlling what you eat.
Right.
Now, balance, when looked at calories and you're just looking at a calorie balance and being like, all right, you know what, I eat clean most of this time. I can fill out the rest of these calories with, some flexible dieting, Lane Norton style.
Who's Lane Norton? The beings might not know.
So Lane Norton is a natural, for those of you who don't know, means not juicing or no steroid use. No steroids. So he competes in tested federations for bodybuilding and now in powerlifting.
And he's also a doctor.
Which he likes to throw around.
He likes to,
quite a lot.
I am a doctor.
But he has some, there's some good stuff that he does.
Yeah, he does.
And I like some of his
He's
interviews.
Smart.
But anyway, he for a while was an advocate of flexible dieting, which is that if you have an allotment of calories left, you can fill it with some junk foods and it not be that big of a deal. However, if you listen to some of his more recent information, he's sort of changed his feelings on this and his opinions.
Well, I think everyone does. I mean, especially if you're in the field, like you're constantly reading and exposing yourself to new research. So, I mean, it's bound to happen that your views are going to start to evolve.
Right, and I respect,
yeah.
and I respect that. But I think what you're getting back to your point was that balance comes from, I think, this old counting calories mindset. And what you're saying is that, and what we both sort of believe at this point, going through both our journeys, is that if you're eating the things that are not putting you out of balance, then you're not craving those things that give you the illusion of balance. Mm-hmm. So if you're eating a constantly high, a diet that's high in very processed grains, very gluten-ridden, or things that are just highly immunosensitive to your personal body, right? Like not even allergies, straight-on allergies, but just sensitivities.
Yeah, like for me, I know for a while, I mean, I was actually not really doing much gluten at all, but I was eating a lot of fruit, so a lot of sugar, no fat, and I was hungry all of the time. And I think that that's when those cravings start to pop up. Like you were like, oh my God, I could eat like a whole pizza. It's just, it's from that your diet being so out of balance, and also too from, you shouldn't be eating pizza, but you should be eating, healthy quality carbs, like your sweet potatoes and squash, and if you can have grains like gluten-free oatmeal, rice. I wasn't doing any of that, and I just, would get these out-of-control cravings, and you really do need to bring in those healthier sources so you don't get so out of whack.
Right, and so, but the healthy sources control for the balance. And now think about the quote-unquote desserts that we eat. Mm-hmm. It's not that we don't enjoy things in life. We just select. We put together tasty things and things that we can enjoy from things that don't make us feel like crap. Like,
probably. I think between the two of us, we eat a bar of chocolate a day. We try to limit it to a bar because it can get out of hand. But it's also a very high quality chocolate. It's usually in the 85 to 90% range, percent. So that is a treat. But it's also
more food.
It's more a food than a treat.
But then look at something like red wine, or even the way that. I'm trying to think of some of the other treats, like some of the paleo-inspired almond flour.
There's tons of desserts. I like to make them when I have
desserts.
time. Yeah, like cakes and cookies, and I actually prefer those now to like a standard wheat like cupcake.
Right, but it all comes down to this. What we're talking about, it all comes down to this quality of your source, and that the source has not been so adulterated to the point that you're putting in a chemical in your body and not a natural food, and that chemical is actually throwing you out of balance, and then you somehow get this thought that like, all right, I need this pizza, and I'm going to take a picture of it, put it on Carbogram, and hashtag balance. And it's like...
Well, the thing is, too,
I want to get my hands on that girl. I want to wring her neck and shove some sweet potatoes down her with some Kerrygold butter on it and some good high-quality grass-fed protein, and...
He's just kidding. We don't really promote violence. Not really.
But I do promote grass-fed protein, and I do promote some aggressive...
Aggressive, you think? Maybe. I don't know.
A grass-fed?
Aggressive grass-fed feeding?
Yes.
Is that a word? Grass feeding.
That sounds... Sure. I actually could go with that. I was going to say something against it, but...
You're going to go with it?
Yeah, let's go with it.
All right, let's go with it.
Let's shift gears a little. So something that, Sumaira and I kind of always check in with each other is, the things that we're, what are we doing at the beginning of this month? I asked him, what he's doing for his sort of wellness this month, like what's his habit he's working on. And I saw on Instagram, which if people want to actually follow you on Instagram.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the bikini experiment, like the blog.
Well, I hope that's easy to find.
I was confused. I didn't know what you were talking about.
All right, so follow her on Instagram.
We're talking about Sumaira and then his Instagram, and then you pointed at me.
Well, Sumaira's not very good on his Instagram.
He doesn't use it.
Dude,
I forgot he was even on Instagram. He likes the